Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of My Ethos. I feel like saying it with an accent that time. I don't know. My Ethos.
You do that. I don't know.
I don't know what accent that was, but it was interesting. So welcome to this week's episode. We're going to talk about mastering the mind, and we have a mind master with us today, the school psychologist, Nick Vlahos, and we're with the photographer who's actually shooting photos while we podcast, which is next level. You got
to do it, dude. You just got to bring it to the next level, you know?
What camera is Sony?
So this is a Sony A7 III. It's all the rage right now.
The A7 III?
The A7 III.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like it?
It's all right.
What's so special about that camera?
It's made in China.
Is
so
it?
when things from China can't be
I thought
imported
it was
into
Japanese. Isn't Sony a Japanese
Nah, like
brand?
made in China. And because the import stuff is being slowed down,
The
so they're hard to get.
embargo?
The embargo.
Yeah.
Where's your
Fuji.
strap for that?
Oh, I don't have one.
No strap.
No, I don't.
Is it not cool to have a strap when you're a photographer?
I go strapless.
You're strapless.
I go strapless
Well,
all
good.
the time. 100%.
Good to know.
It's the way I live my life.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I guess there you have it. So anyway, thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about the mind. We're going to talk about focus. We're going to talk about emotions and all that fun stuff. But before that, what's your guys' plans for the summer? I'm going to start with you, Nick. What's your plan? Because you have, out of all the people I know, there's two people that have the entire summer off, and you guys both have the same job, which is school psychologist.
Yes.
You work in education. But you have the whole summer off. I mean, that's legit. That's like the coolest thing ever. How did I not get the whole summer off? I think I did something wrong.
Honestly, it's weird the other way around for me. So when people say they have like 3 weeks vacation or 2 weeks or 4,
Right.
I don't understand. And
You're like, that stinks.
It feels like it is because I'm spoiled because I work in education. So, my contract's 190 days. That's it.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm going to go on a
So
ride
you get paid?
along.
You get paid in the summer?
I could spread it out 12 months. So
you have
did.
the option?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what's your plan? What
I want to go on some ride-alongs with some officers.
That's your plan? That's your
Yeah, I'm
whole
gonna
plan
do-
for the
that's-
summer?
that's
I'm going
part
to
of
go
it.
on some ride-alongs with some...
I might go to Colorado. I got my friends living there
Yeah?
right now.
All right.
Yeah.
You're
might
going to
do
get out of the
that.
state of California?
Maybe.
Speaking of, I'm like this close to leaving California. Did you guys hear the new rule that, new bill that the governor just put into place?
Nope. What is it?
It's a water restriction bill. And supposedly we're limited to 50 gallons of water per... Do you remember what it was,
Per
Vince?
person, yeah. It's 55 gallons per person.
What's the time frame on that?
per day.
Per day.
Which is not very much water, though.
So you're not... So if you take a shower, about how many gallons is that?
They say it's about, if you have an energy, like, appliance-based shower, like a shower head
Like
that doesn't
a
use that much water,
shower
like a
that
low
barely
flow.
drips?
Yeah, the one that drips on you, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
like
yeah.
Navy shower, which we should be doing in California anyways.
Sure.
But it's about 17 gallons of water, they say.
Okay. So 17 gallons, done. So you have, however
One
many
load
gallons left,
of
right?
laundry
I'm
for a
horrible at math.
household, they say like the average energy efficient uses 40 gallons of water to do a load of laundry.
Well, that's not going to work out too
So
well.
you
then.
can't...
It's
you
not gonna
literally
work
can't
out too
do a
well.
load of laundry and take a shower on the same day.
No,
Well, how
yeah,
does this get regulated? I'm curious.
First of all, the bill's already signed, so I know a lot of people, like you said, it's actually signed.
Right.
He signed.
Well, I
this
just moved
bill
into a
into
house with a
effect.
pool, so...
Yeah, they're saying you're just gonna
that I
have to bury
fill
that
up.
pool.
Like I literally,
Yeah.
so like every day, my pool probably loses like 2 or 3 inches of water because it's 105 degrees outside where I live right now. So it's like, it's insane. Insane.
But what's the point of the bill as far as like regulation? Does your bill go up or how does that work?
So check this
sure
out. So
it
it is for
will.
inside outside, by the way. So it isn't just limited. And like if you live like, so I have some like relatives that live up in like the Lake Isabella area in Kern County, and they live right by a lake. And
Right.
they also have those same restrictions on them,
yeah.
which is insane. So just think, you move to this like mountain community, you think like, oh, water's never going to be a worry.
Right.
We're on a well, no big deal. Nope. The local agencies, it's up to them to go in and regulate these water restrictions. And if you break the rule, you think, oh, no big deal. We're going to go over a little bit. It's going to up our water bill. No, it's $1,000 per occurrence after you use that 55 gallons
Wow,
of water.
that's
So
insane.
per occurrence, not just like, oh, this is an extra $1,000. It's per occurrence. And it's up to the local water agencies, which leads me to my next point, because you talked about this.
What's that?
Your next investment in stocks and whatever should be water.
Yeah,
Because
really think
water
so.
is going to go through
Yeah,
the roof.
I mean, we're not financial analysts or anything like this, but
I am.
I do believe that water is very important fresh water, good water. And what's interesting is like the state. So California is set up in a way to where like most of the water that comes through rainfall, it comes in the mountains or like Northern California, right? And so there's a documentary on Netflix that talks about the water, how the California aqueduct was created, and basically takes the water from Northern California down to Southern California, and that basically allows Southern Californians to have enough water because there's tons of people in LA. I mean, the population's insane. Not enough rainwater for people in LA, so it has to come from somewhere. And so California definitely has a problem. So I get that. I see that. I want to be part of the problem, but maybe from afar. Maybe I'll move. Vince was talking about, what were you talking about?
Idaho, man.
Idaho,
It's
yeah.
looking good over there. My grandpa lives there, so we looked there, but Meridian is looking pretty
I've
good.
never been up there. I've never been to Idaho. I've never been to Wyoming. I've never been to Montana. Maybe I have. Maybe I've been to Montana for like 2 minutes, but like I love Colorado, by the way. We'll have to talk afterwards. There's some really cool spots. You got to go to Boulder, first of all.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hippie town, but Boulder's like one of the prettiest places ever.
How close is that to Denver? Because they live in Denver.
It's not far. Hour and a half. I'm not exactly sure, but you'll have to Google map it. But it's not far. It's north of Denver, and it's kind of like
I think my new
in the
business
Rockies.
plan going into 2019 is doing those rain systems, even though it doesn't rain that much in Southern California. But, you know, you take those buckets that you set on the outside of your house, and then you recycle that water for like showers, washing dishes, things like that. It actually, you know, the rain falls, goes into these
This is a
buckets,
good
and
idea.
then it filtrates into
All
your
right,
house.
so this is I'm in, dude.
You're in.
I'm in.
Nick,
You
are you in? Some investment on this?
Yeah, but see, I don't even have a washer and dryer, so I just do my laundry somewhere else.
So your quarter bill is going to go up. I got it. Jeremy's actually switching the podcast today. Thank you so much, Jeremy,
What's up,
for switching
Jeremy?
What's up,
today.
man?
Are you in, Jeremy, audibly? He's in, so
Dude,
we're
this-
good.
real
So Nick, you're
question.
out.
So,
That's all
like,
we needed.
after-
We
Yeah,
only needed
dude.
3
We got
people.
3 people. We're good.
We're good.
We're good. No, that's a good idea. Like you could deliver water to the house and then create like a system to where you have like your own water tank at your house, and you get it sent in by like a truck or whatever, and it's probably going to be cheaper than actually getting water.
I mean, that
It's
full
possible.
3 inches you get all year
Again,
in Southern
I'm
California.
not an economist. I don't have the money or the brain to figure this out, but somebody does. So
Do
if
you
you're
wa-
out there and you're listening and you want to invest and you have real money and you're not just talk like Nick. Nick's not even talk. Nick's like literally just out. Like he just took himself out of the situation. But if you're out there and you want to be involved in this and you have money, talk to us. We'll do it.
So if you don't use your 55 gallons that day, do you get it? Does it build up, or you just lose it
of course
for that
not,
day?
man.
Yeah,
you know it doesn't
yeah,
build
I know
it.
it
You know you
doesn't.
can't like conserve.
That is, though. You know what, though,
a good
dude?
question.
You should be a politician because I feel like that should be like carryover minutes for AT&T. I love those. I love the
Is
way
the
that
water gonna be
yeah.
carryover?
Are you gonna get some carryover water?
I feel like I should save this, but I'm so thirsty. It's just-
Right.
It's summer. So anyway, summertime. What do
It's
you do
good.
in the summer?
I'm working a lot, which is good. I want to work. I like grinding out in the summer because the winter is just really important for kind of what we do. But we're
been a
taking a little
busy
we're,
year.
we're taking a little vacation, which is nice.
Yeah.
Taking the kids on a plane for the first time, so that'll be fun. Like all 4 of my kids we're all going to be on an airplane together, and I think that's going to
Yeah.
be an adventure.
That'll be a huge adventure.
Huge adventure. So that's going to be fun, and just hanging out with friends. So that's
Yeah.
going to be fun. I'm stoked on summer.
I
Hanging
look
out with the
forward to
kids.
summer. You know what I like about summer is
Fishing.
I feel like it's a time to like normally, not all the time, but usually you have some time to breathe. You have a chance to just kind of sit back and relax and think about where your life is, think about where things are going, how they're working out. It's almost like a time to kind of plan some things for the future and kind of figure it out because times they are a changing.
Do you have
Nick.
anything big planned for yourself? this
Yeah,
summer?
we're gonna go on a trip also with Vince and his family. Somehow we're gonna have to podcast from an unknown destination. But doing that, moved into a new place and just getting settled there. I'm sure we'll take a couple other trips here and there. But going up to the mountains for a little bit. I love the mountains. I just want to just go up there and just fish and just hang out and breathe some really clean, crisp mountain air. I'm excited about that.
I might change my vacation though a little bit to like kind of match. I kind of like where Nick's going with this like virtual cops thing.
Yeah.
Like bad boys.
It's
like
fun to go on
like,
ride-alongs.
yeah,
Have you
like
been
you
on a
just really want to
ride-along?
live the real life cops. You're just
I
like,
do.
yeah. So I'm kind of into that too. So
Yeah,
let me
dude.
know how that goes.
That'll be fun.
Nick's really into
I
confrontation.
think
You like
deep
it.
down,
I
Nick
do, I
is
do.
like hoping that when he goes on a ride along that he'll get in an altercation.
I
Physically,
am physically. I
with,
actually told the
uh,
officer I'm going to go with. I would like to tackle
physically
somebody.
with a really weak, unarmed gangbanger.
Yes.
that's alone
Yes.
that won't remember his face. He's blind too. He just happens to be weak, blind, but he's throwing gang signs.
America, this is the school psychologist that your kids go to
This is
on an
America.
everyday.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna talk about our head. The head gets you in trouble. It can get you in trouble, or your head could help you. Your mind can help you go somewhere better, right? You can actually use it for good, or you can use it for evil. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start with emotions. Have you guys ever been just like really angry? I know you have, but what can you think of like a time when you've just been like really, really angry? I have a story I've shared before on another podcast, but when I was younger, I was in the McDonald's drive-thru, and I got really, really, really mad that they stopped serving breakfast at 10:30. Like I pulled into the drive-thru at like 10:15, and I got up to the window to order my breakfast egg McMuffin, which I was so excited about. And the lady said, "Can you hold, please?" And it's like 10:28 at that point, right? She said, "Can you hold, please?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." She comes back on at 10:31,
Yeah, you're
dude. She comes
done.
back on. "May I help you?" I said, "Yeah, can I order a egg McMuffin, please?" "Oh, I'm sorry, we stopped serving breakfast at 10:30.
What'd you tell her at that
I
point?
said, "Oh, okay." And I'm not real confrontational. So I just I get internally angry and then I blow up. So I said, "You know what? It's cool. Never mind. I'm okay." So my plan is I'm in my old Toyota. It wasn't Tacoma. It was like the Toyotas that were before Tacomas. Just an old Toyota truck, a little bit raised, four-wheel drive. It was. I wish I still had that truck. It was awesome. But I go to back up and all of a sudden there's traffic. There's people behind me and then there's people in front of me. And so I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna go over the curb. And so I crank the wheel. I shoot over the curb. And my truck gets high centered on the curb because there was a drop off on the other side of the curb. So then my truck is just high centered on this on the side of this embankment at McDonald's. People in front of me, people behind me. I'm stuck, dude. What do? I'm not calm. I'm not calm at all, dude. I get even more fired up. So I just crank it. It was a stick shift. Put it in first gear. Just cranked it. Just put my foot on the pedal. And my tires started spinning and smoke started coming. All of a sudden, my tires caught, and I just went flying over this embankment into a bush.
How old were you? 16 or something?
No. I was probably like 19, 20.
Okay.
And then after that, I just put it in reverse and calmly drove away. And that's, I was just completely ruled by my...
Why'd you calm down, though? I mean...
Why did I calm down?
I mean, how'd you calm down from that? Yeah. Because I
felt like a moron. Because I just done
a good reason.
Really stupid. Have you ever gotten really mad, done something stupid, and then you're just like, what just happened? Like literally, what just happened?
Oh, dude, for sure. I got pulled over the other day for talking on my cell phone, and it was just so funny because it's like it was coming, but I acted like it was the most,
egregious thing.
Right? Like I'm
over.
like, how did you pull me over for it? Like, dude. And what was bad was I wasn't even on my cell phone. I had just, and usually I am, and I'm trying not to be on my phone when I'm driving, but sometimes it's just your boss is texting you or somebody's texting you something important, so you just glance and you move over, and it's so irresponsible. And I'm working on not doing it anymore. But I picked up my phone just to move it off my lap. And sure enough, I look over and there's a cop and he looked at me and I just, he got me. So I pull in and I'm about to go pay my rent, which is like when you're just paying your rent, you're just thinking, oh, here's more money out of my bank account. So you're already in a mood when you're paying your rent, which I don't even know why. It's just, you got to pay your rent though,
Yeah.
And the cop's like, I pulled you over. And I always say no, because I want to hear, I always want to hear the reason.
Worse.
Right. So do you guys,
Vinny's street smart. I like
yeah. I don't know if you guys ever get pulled over and you're just like, oh yeah, I was on my cell phone and I was smoking a doobie. No, you just go.
We're not espousing to lie, but hey, if they, a part of, I don't think it's a lie. Let's put it this way, to just not say what you're thinking. Right?
I was just like, oh no, well, tell me, why'd you pull me over? He's like, you're on your phone. And I'm like, I just moved it off my lap. And he's like, doesn't matter, distracted driving. And so I'm just frustrated. So I pull out my stuff and I hand it to him and he writes me a ticket and he hands it to me and I sign it, guilty as charged, which I actually paid the ticket today. So that's good. But signed it, gave it back to him. And I thought we were done. And I go to get out of my car and and he's still there, still walking. So I just kind of opened my door, and the door bumps him. He's like, dude, what, you just hit me with your door? And I'm like, no, you're still like, you're in my way. Like, and it was like, and I was just kind of upset. Like,
Did you like? Were you?
no,
kinda
I didn't
trying
like
to,
hit him hard with the door. No, like,
not hard, but I mean, were you kind of wanting him to be there?
why?
So
I opened my door as I'm looking, I'm turning, and I didn't mean to open my door on him, but it happened. But I was upset, and you could probably tell. And he's just like, man, you just need to calm down. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I just got to go in here and do my thing. And I literally felt so bad that I remember his name was on my ticket. I went and emailed him because I was just like, I was just a little bit. It was just so dumb over a cell phone ticket.
So
but I lost my head for a second.
Right.
Like you said, I lost where I was. Like, is a cell phone ticket that big of a? Did I deserve one at some point in my life? For sure, I've been on my phone. And I just for a minute, my 36-year-old self lost my mind over a cell phone ticket.
See, I don't know if you're the same way, but it seems like you're more of like an external anger person. Like, you just get mad and you react, or do you like internalize it? Because I internalize my anger. Like, I'll get upset about something, I won't say anything.
I
And then I'll get
internalize my
upset
guilt. But not like, if I'm guilty, I'm just like,
Right.
man. But like, angry, like, you'll know right away. Like, if I'm not happy, I'll visibly, and I'll let you
Right.
know.
Yeah, I know how you are, Nick. You got that Greek temper.
I got it all. It's everything
just
that
get
you guys are
mad.
talking about.
But you
all
cool
wrapped
off.
up.
Eventually.
You're like the Tasmanian devil. You're just like, and then you spin out a bunch, and then you get tired, and then you just, then it's all good.
I remember when I first met you, you just like, people would yell at us or something. You just flip out on them.
I don't do that anymore. I'm done.
It's pretty
with
funny.
that. Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I've seen him flip out,
Yeah.
so I don't. Recently.
But I'm like that. Like, I'll like internalize my anger long enough, and then finally something will set me off, and I just see red, and I don't know what happens, and it's not good.
Well, I think anger happens a
temper.
lot. I've heard this from my friend Jason. He said failed expectations produce that kind of response in you. It's where you're thinking something, and if it doesn't happen, it upsets you. So you're not thinking you're going to be the one that actually gets the cell phone ticket, and then it happens, and it's upsetting.
Well, because you're thinking I have other things to do, right? You're like, it's like an interruption too, right? Like, it's like, today I've got to do this. You have you have a list that you have to check off these boxes. You're like, I have to do this, and this, and that sucker just got in the way of my list.
And
like,
in your mind, like at the time, you go back and you think when you get pulled over, you're like, really, me of all people. When you get a speeding ticket, you're like, there's 1,000 other people speeding on the same road, and I'm the guy that gets the ticket, but
Right.
you were speeding, and it's just like, it's going back into your mind. But like Nick said, I think it's the unexpected. It's like something that, kind of like throws a kink into whatever you have going on. You already had a plan, especially if you notice that people that have plans, like they call them beavers, right? Like people that are real, I don't know what a beaver would do if you kick over its dam mid, build. But if somebody that's a planner and you get in the way of their plan, like, have you ever seen these
They
people
flip you off.
Oh,
Sure.
dude, they erupt like people that
Motherfucker.
people that have no, but people that are planners, if you disrupt their plans, they're a lot more upset than people that just kind of live with the flow. They say kind of like beach people are more with the flow, and they're like, whatever. And that's not necessarily the case. But,
No.
they'll say like, and then you have people that are really structured, and those people tend to be a little bit more angry when their structure is, not there.
It's interesting. Yeah. So there's like external factors as to why we might get angry, people giving you a ticket, or the lady, stalling and not giving me my dang breakfast sandwich. People yelling at you on the street, Nick, which is weird that always happens to you. But
It is weird. I don't get it.
But then there's like internal anger too. Have you ever been mad at yourself? Like really mad at yourself? Like the other day, a couple days ago, I drove. My wife and I were 2 hours out of town. We had separate cars. I left, and I got to my destination 2 hours later. She was gonna meet me later, and she texted me. She said, "Where are my car keys?" And I reached in my pocket.
Yeah, there they are.
And they were in my pocket. I got so freaking mad, dude. I got so mad at myself because how in the world am I like, I'm 37 years old. I'm a grown adult. How in the world am I that dumb to like forget to give her keys, right? I got really mad for a minute, I yelled, and then I moved on. But it's like you get angry with yourself, and that's like a frustrating. Where does that come from? Like what is that? What is that?
Well, failed expectations, right? Like
Same
you,
thing?
you
I mean,
in
is
your
it-
mind, you
Yeah,
shouldn't have
I
made the
mean-
mistake, so you had a failed expectation, and again, it was a disruption of your day, and
Right.
it didn't. it didn't go according to plan. And I think we get really upset when things don't go according to plan, you know? And
Well, what do you guys do when you get angry? I mean, how do you overcome it?
So for me now at this point in my life, because,
You said you don't do that anymore.
well, typically I don't. I mean, I try to, my expectations now are that people are going to do something to upset me, and it helps me like not get mad about things. But what I do, so say somebody like a friend or somebody I know upsets me, I give myself two choices. If I'm really upset, I can either let it go or I talk to them, because if I sit in that middle spot, the anger builds. Like you said, you just keeps building and
so
building.
you
and
are
building.
proactive about it.
When I'm actually upset or hurt about something,
Right.
for real, yeah, I'm very proactive about it, because I don't want it to grow into something else. Because the more angry you become, a lot of times your view of reality starts twisting,
Right.
and it may not be an accurate view of what's really going on.
So I think like besides besides ourselves, besides like outside forces, like the police officer giving you a ticket, which is his job, but he, obviously you're not happy when you get a ticket. I think one of the biggest factors with anger is we get mad at the people that we care about the most, right? Like that's because you have a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
True,
toward
yeah.
them, right? You just do. Like your spouse or it's amazing to me how we end up treating the people that are closest to us the worst out of all the people. And it's because of that. It's because of those expectations. Because I'm like, I expect this. It's like I do this for you, you do this for me, and we start getting this mindset that it's like a transaction type thing, right? But ultimately, like, I think one of the things that I have learned to deal with in marriage specifically is to not be in that mindset of expecting things from my wife all the time. Like instead be in a mindset of like, what can I do for her to help her? Cause she has a lot going on. My wife works, she's raising our daughter. I'm there too, but she does a lot of it still, and she's constantly keeping up the house. Like she has a lot going on. She's busy right now doing a bunch of stuff. And so I try to get myself in a mind frame of like, what can I do to help her, checking in on her, like looking out. And I think like if we can do that with all the people around us, that really clears our minds, it really does. But I think that there needs to be a way to overcome like those emotions of anger. And I know a lot of people that are just mad all the time. Like they're just angry. You can just tell, and what happens to those people is they end up losing friendships. They end up losing opportunities, I think, because they don't see them. They're just mad. They're just angry. I've been there before, where it's just like you're just mad at the world. You start feeling like you're a victim.
Yeah, I was gonna say you start blaming other people for your actual feelings,
Right?
When that's not an appropriate way to deal with things.
Well, I think there's two things, and I think maybe you can speak to this a little bit, Nick. But I think there's also the primitive instincts that you have, and I think being angry is like natural.
Sure.
A little bit. Like I think it's primitive. Like it's built
Being
into us.
Being angry is natural. I think staying angry is a habit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Necessarily, I don't know, because I think people that are constantly angry, I think they're constantly feeling threatened. Like you said, like they feel like they're the victim. They're constantly threatened. And if you're threatened, you have these instincts, and these instincts, one of those instincts could be anger, because if you're threatened, you're trying to survive. And maybe their way of surviving is that survival instinct that's built into them is expressing this anger, and they're shutting people down and they're yelling because their way of life is being threatened. The way that they want to live life is threatened. And so I guess the psychology would be that yes, it turned habitual, right? Like they have these constant thoughts, and maybe there's mental things going on that makes them think that everybody's against them and they can't get ahead in life, and everybody's going to give them a ticket. Their boss wants to not want to give them that raise, or whatever the case may be. So they bring all this, they harbor this in. And really all they're trying to do is survive, but it's become from something that's become a survival instinct to something that's very maybe made up in their mind, or it's more like they can't get over the fact that, that these things do happen. It's circumstantial, and that they can get through some of these circumstances, and they can, kind of get rid of this anger.
We're not experts in this area necessarily. Nick is probably the most of an expert in this area, but the way that I have dealt with anger in my life, because I used to have more anger in my life and now I've dealt with it quite a bit, is with that whole victim mentality. I just came to the realization that everyone has opposition in their lives. Everybody, like flat out. And it might be different, but everyone has opposition. Everyone has those feelings of inadequacy. Like everyone has these enemies that they perceive.
Perceive or real, it's there.
Or real,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Exactly. And so we're no different than anybody else. And so I think like just realizing that everyone has their own challenges helps me, because I'm like, dude, like everyone's in the same boat here. Like, let's just try to get along. Let's try to help each other out.
Right.
Like that's a much better way to
For sure.
to think, I think.
To perceive, right? Yeah, to take in what's happening around you, because I think you have a choice. Like, you can take in the things that are happening to you. Like, that decision's up to you. And I think you're right in the sense of that it becomes, if you do think the whole world is weighing down on you, and you see these people, their natural instinct is going to release this overabundance of anger. Like, just like it is unnecessary, right? Like, it's just too much. But if you're able to take in and assess the situation, like Nick, as you get older, you don't have those same problems, because you understand like this is just part of life, and you understand that reacting to a situation this way is going to be better than reacting to the situation this way, right? Like, you know that choice, there's going to be a better choice in life, and you know.
Rarely do you see a really patient 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, rarely do you see like somebody who's just got it all figured out when they're really young, even like 18, 19, 20, you know, like.
Well, your brain's still developing too at that age.
Right. And so I think like it's a learned thing. It really is. I really believe your mind, and we're talking about anger. I think it's because it's probably the most obvious thing to talk about, but other emotions affect your thinking and your abilities as well. There's anger. There's
sadness.
There's
happiness.
Happy. There's like if you're like super stoked, like that could also be, you know, if you're just like trying, let's put it this way. If you're constantly living for the next high, okay, like you're constantly searching out for the next like happy feeling, that can lead to issues as well. Like that's what drug addicts like do, right? Like they're missing something in their life, so they want to be happy, so they take drugs, or they, you know, drink alcohol too much, or whatever it is. They're looking for that high.
And you're right. Like, we shouldn't place negative connotations on emotions,
right,
as we do. I mean, a lot of times when we think of anger, we do think of something bad, but maybe that anger is there because somebody is trying to hurt your family, and you need to protect your family, and through that anger, you're able to do so.
Sure. So the emotions are good.
Yeah, they can. I mean, it's how you react, really.
And you shouldn't suppress your emotions, would you say?
And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing that I've ever seen with anybody with therapy and kids is literally talking about it with somebody.
Yeah.
It's the best thing to do. Like,
and guys don't do that very well. Like, we don't sit around and talk. Like, we normally wouldn't have this conversation if we weren't podcasting and being intentional about it, I don't think. I mean, hey guys.
But I think sharing your feelings is important. I think when you have friends, like today we got in a little thing today, not a thing, but like we were able to share our feelings, or not so much like we didn't sit around and be like, dude, you couldn't hurt. But that's not the conversation we had, but we just were very honest with each other and like where we're at and said, hey, like, this is how I feel, this is how you feel, cool. Like, and you were able, and it was a lot healthier than just to like, let's just not talk about this all and move on. But I'm just saying, just saying like those we have Hollywood in our mind when it comes to emotions, like the way that we should express emotions, the way that we should react to emotions.
Well, so this is a good point you bring up. So there's us three have been like really close friends for a long time, and we all do talk about stuff. And if I'm really going through a hard time, I literally would talk to you guys about it, like no problem. You guys know more about me than anybody on the planet, pretty much. And I think it's important to have those relationships of people you can trust and you can talk to. And so if you're out there and you're like, dude, I'm dealing with some stuff, who do I talk to? Yeah. You may have a friend that you can talk to, that you can lean on, but I know it's hard when you
there's not when you're actually that angry or that hurt, there's not a lot of things you can do. I mean, you can exercise, you can get some sleep, but talking,
right.
You know, I see kids all the time that come into the office at my school frustrated.
Sure.
By the time we're done talking, they might still be frustrated, but it's going to be at a lower level. Typically, it's not always the case, but most of the time that's the case. Even it's the same with adults, but we don't. Right. It's a very simple thing to do.
Well, it's kind of like you're trying to get rid of that boiling point, right? Where it's just all of a sudden like things boil. And it's interesting because biblically, which is interesting, or the Bible says, or God says, be slow to anger, but he doesn't say don't be angry.
Right.
And I think I think in any emotion, you're trying to, simmer off that boiling point, right?
Like you're not anger. There's a reason. I mean, if you see like an injustice, if you see a child being abused, or if you see somebody stealing from somebody that is helpless, like that's a good anger to have. Like you should be mad at those people and you should do something about it.
Right. But the opposite side, right, of angry is happy. Like, not the opposite of angry is happy, but like take somebody that's happy all the time, like somebody that walked around is like, and they're happy all the time.
Anger and happiness aren't the opposite.
Right. They're not. Right. I didn't mean that.
More like the two sides of the same coin kind of thing. Like
But if you take somebody that's happy, right? The same whatever, you take some and they're happy all the time, what would you say about that person?
If they're happy all the time, I would say they're fake.
Psycho. You just
Yeah.
being psycho, right? Somebody's like,
that person, that's not real.
Hey, kids,
Have you met
it's
those?
me.
You've met those people, right? Like, hey, how's it going? They're just like trying too hard.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like,
Well,
it seems fake, right?
Well, and they might be really authentic,
right.
but at the end of the day, they might go home and just
Just be sad, just cry.
just punch walls, and
well,
then
you
just
say
get
that,
off.
but think about like comedians, right? And like people that have like committed suicide,
right.
and they talk about
Way to
that.
bring it
how,
back down, Nick.
Well, sorry, but it's any type of emotion you either hide down or you fake, whatever it is.
Right.
It can really damage you if you don't again talk to somebody, even the happiness, because if you're always happy, those people explode a lot because they think everything's good, and then something just comes after them, and then it just falls.
And those are
apart
the
for 'em.
scariest people too,
Yeah.
because it's like you just think they're the happiest people on the planet, and then they blow up on you. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? What did I do? And it really was them, not you. So so thinking about these emotions, how can you keep a clear head? Like, how can you start the day off right? We talked about last podcast. We talked about like meditation, right? And that's like ooey, kind of weird, like, But really, ultimately, to simplify that idea, it's just taking the time to clear your head, taking the time to like go through the thoughts, going through the stuff. Like it's like a preemptive strike. It's like saying, you know what, here's some stuff that could happen today. How am I going to handle it? Right? Like, like when you wake up in the morning, that you might have to have a difficult conversation with somebody, or that there's something that's been bothering you, or that there's some sort of thing you need to work with. You need to be mindful of that. And I think if you like just take a moment to be with yourself, and if you haven't listened to the last episode, we talk about the importance of being alone and being okay with being alone with yourself. Listen to that. But you need to get to that place. You need to get to a place where you're able to really just think things through, and even journaling. That's helped me a lot, like a lot.
I mean, that's a form of talking because you're writing
Right.
down your thoughts.
And I know the guys out there that are driving their big trucks going
Communications
into the
are-
oil fields are like, what are you talking about? Journal? I don't do diary, whatever. I get it. I understand. It seems really, really like a stupid thing to do, but it's important. It really is. Even if you write down your thoughts and throw it away, like even if you just get it out, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, you have to have an emotional appropriate outlet.
right.
We all do. Every
Yeah.
single person.
Definitely. I think if you fill up a tank long enough, it's going to empty you. And if you fill it up with something good, you'll empty in a good way. And if you fill it up with something bad, then
Well, like what Nick said too, I think figuring out a way to control your emotions, you know what I mean, before you get to the boiling point. And for a lot of people, it might not be journaling. It could be
There's other
exercise.
ways,
No,
sure.
exercise is a great way. Meditation isn't for everyone, and maybe the meditation is like going out on your mountain
disagree
biking.
with that. I think meditation is for everyone, but it needs to be done in your own way.
Yeah, do
I
you
think it's something that humans should do just as much as
Like
we
a
do.
self-reflection type.
But I'm
thing.
just saying,
I'm not
like
talking
that
about
could
sitting
be
cross-legged.
right.
and
Exactly.
going,
That's all I mean.
I'm
Like
not talking about all
right.
that.
I know.
I like sometimes I'm in the shower and I'll just think something through and I'll deal with it in my head.
Sometimes for
That's
me
what
though,
I'm
like
talking
surfing is meditation for me.
Sure.
Like if I'm on my surfboard, so I'm just saying
For me,
like
it's hiking a lot of times.
right. So I'm not saying like when you say meditation, I think people get in their mind
They
that
do.
hey,
Right.
it's like sitting around and I think that's good. Like for
And when
me,
you Google it, I was trying to find videos on meditation earlier, and there's a bunch of kooky stuff out there
right.
about it.
Sometimes for me, it's a simple prayer. Just praying in the morning, whatever that is for you. But for me, it's like
Right.
I get into a mindset and I want to pray and think it's just me getting my thoughts out, and
There's a lot of Bible verses about
So
being
good.
thankful and the importance of being thankful.
Yeah.
And I think that's also meditation, a form of meditation, just being thankful for what you have. Because if you're thankful for what you have, it's much harder to think about what you don't have. It's like it's a simple thing, but if you go right, you can't go left at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's literally a matter of just saying, you know what, here's the 5 things that I have right now that I'm super stoked about, that I'm happy about, that are good. Thank you for those. And I thank God because I believe in God. I believe all good things come from God. Whatever your beliefs are, that's fine, but just be thankful in your heart, right? Be thankful for the blessings that have come to you.
But the devil's advocate be like, well, there's nothing to be thankful for. But
there's always something to
You're
be
right. And
thankful
think about
for.
this: have you ever like gone a long time without like hot water or not a bed, and then I hear all the time people go hunting and they're
Right.
gone for a week or
this is-
two, come back and take a shower, and like it feels different. Like they're thankful for that.
This is a kind of a dwarfed concept, but the other day I hurt my arm. I thought I hurt my arm a lot worse than I did. I was picking up a TV, and in old man fashion, I heard this like rip in my arm, and it hurt really bad. And so you saw me a day later, and I had a sling on. My wife found this sling, and she made me wear it. It was embarrassing, but for a couple of days, I thought I might have to have surgery on my arm, and I thought, crap, my whole summer's gone. Like this sucks. And it's a stupid example, but I took my arm for granted, having two working arms for granted for a couple of days. It turned out my arm was fine. I went to the doctor. I just a partial tear, no big deal. But people that are paralyzed, that's a much bigger example. People that lose their health, that have cancer. I know some people that have cancer right now. Like their perspective is a lot different than our perspective. Like we're healthy, and yeah, there's people say, "Oh, there's nothing to be thankful for." You're freaking walking on two legs.
So you gotta take the thankfulness to the base level of just being alive.
And I get it. I understand that there are a lot of people that truly are victims in this world.
Yeah, nobody's saying that, right? Yeah,
dude. And
I'm
I
not
get
saying
it
that right now.
No, and I get it. I understand. Like people inherently do crappy things to other people, and I know that there's people that have been hurt. I get it. I understand that, and the healing process there is probably long and tough, but it's still you're still able to learn. Humans are freaking resilient people. They just are. And you've seen it over and over and over. You've seen people they can overcome so many things. I've seen people overcome abuse. I've seen people overcome deaths in the family. I've seen people overcome their own health issues. I've seen it happen. It can happen. Right? It can.
I just read an article in Psychology Today that was talking about our survival instincts failing us. Like the survival instinct that we have is actually failing us. And because of the culture that we live in, because we think things are good and we don't have these imminent threats that we used to have, or whatever the case may be, some of these things that kept us alive for so long and kept us, like you're saying, like that resilience in us is kind of leaving us because we're kind of in this state of like things are good.
Well, that's why it's good to challenge yourself, right? Like,
constantly.
Like I know people ask you. We did that Spartan race last year.
That was so good. I felt so healthy.
Why do you do stuff like that? And it wasn't a big deal. It was one of the sprint races, but it was just something to challenge ourselves with, because we're not challenged physically, in this normal life, and we're not challenged mentally, and it was good to do that. I think it was good to put ourselves out there and do that.
I'd say this,
another one.
Right. I'd say this too. Like one of the things I think too that I know, like I feel like I've been there before. You wake up in the morning, you see what everyone's doing around you, pick up your phone, you get on social media, and you're like, dude, everyone's murdering their situation, but not me. Like, why isn't life going like this good for me?
Right.
And I think like you said, I think going back, we talked about this last podcast, listen to that, just kind of really reflecting on how you can self-improve, like and better yourself, and don't worry about the people around you so much. Because I think really our emotions, the people around us have a huge, would you say this, Nick, have a huge play on what affects our emotions and how we react to our emotions, because we're looking at other people.
Environment, yeah.
Right. We're looking at, environment. That's great. Thanks. You pulled the words out of my mind. But we're looking at other people's situations. We're looking at these things that are going on in our everyday lives. And we're like, man, like if I can just get ahead, right? And the survival, like in our mind, we want to get ahead. We want not to have to live paycheck to paycheck. We want not have to worry about where, we're going to get the next meal from or whatever. Not all of us are living like that, but I'm saying, a lot of people do live paycheck to pay, and they see all this greatness coming around, and that, I think that can flare temper and anger and, a lot of bad emotion in which you can dwell in and never feel the other side of the coin. Like Nick said, or you guys were talking about, like the emotions that are good for us and healthy for us and things like that. And so I think it's good, like you said, to be able to clear your head, do your exercise. And the point I was going to get to earlier was just kind of getting some of those, like be able to release those endorphins and get that, that at least get the physical and chemical side of your body right, so that you can actually make clear thoughts and better decisions for your tomorrow, I guess I would say.
So that goes along with what I want to leave us with tonight. I wrote this 3-part self-audit, basically. The people can do every day. They can do this daily, weekly. But if you want to listen to this, write this down. In fact, I'll put it in the show notes. But how to do proper self-audit. The first thing is observe your own behavior. Okay, observe your own behavior. What does a typical day look like? How do you treat the people closest to you? How much of your free time is self-directed versus reactive, right? observe your own behavior. At the end of the day, maybe take a moment and journal and write down, how did I do today? Give yourself a rating, 1 to 10. Did I, in these 3 areas, how did I do? I'm getting a phone call here. The second one is ask yourself tough questions. I said it before, but what's broken in your life? What's missing in your life? What's dead in your life? And what can, what is missing? What is it in your life that you need to work on? And the third thing is be mindful of the 3 levels of health. There's 3 levels. There's spiritual, mental, and physical.
That's good.
And spiritually is about your heart, your beliefs, your anchor. What do you hold on to? Mentally is just your emotions. If you just choose to work on your emotions, you'll get better at it, right?
Yeah, any of those areas for sure.
How's your discipline? How's your self-control? And then the last thing, Vince, is what you're talking about. Are you healthy physically? Your exercise, your diet. What are you putting into your body? Are you drinking too much? Are you,
not sleeping enough? It's a whole
Are
thing.
you relying on some sort of substance or food or sugar or whatever it is? Are you relying on something too much? Mine is caffeine at the moment, but I'm trying.
Well, that's the overall idea of this podcast, right? Your ethos,
that's it.
Your mind.
Your mind, your spirit, and your body.
Yeah.
If you can get those 3 things in healthy order, then you're going to be in a better place to be a force for good in the world.
Let me ask you this: with those 3 things, do you think it's possible to be good in one and not the other 2, or do you think they all 3 work together?
I think it's possible to an extent, but I think that if those 3 areas of your life aren't, at least you're not working on them, if you're not improving in those areas, or
one will sink the other.
I do think one can sink the other. Absolutely. 100%. I've seen a lot of people that are physically, they just don't take care of their bodies.
Right.
But their minds are good. But eventually your mind will go bad if you don't take care of your body. My grandpa was a good example. He died of Alzheimer's, and I know we don't exactly know what causes that, but he wasn't really mindful about his body. He didn't, with his diet and exercising. I don't know if it would have been different otherwise. They don't know a lot about that. I get it. But I know that some people, they end up with diabetes, or they end up with some sort of ailment that they could be prevented, and that you can't say that doesn't affect your mind. You can't say it doesn't affect your spirit, and so I think all 3 are vastly important. I really do. And I'm not talking about being ripped or being sexy, being super hot and working out and going to the gym for 3 hours a day. I'm talking about general health.
Yeah.
Everyone should move their body, do something. You take the stairs, do something every day. And everyone should feed their mind with something good every day. I do believe that 100%. And everyone should check their beliefs. I do believe that.
If I was on the Nick Vlahos diet, I'd be happy every day of my life.
You would.
Salami and cheese,
Salami
baby.
And cheese.
Salami and cheese,
I had
baby.
eggs with it last night. So
salami and cheese and eggs, baby. Oh, man.
That's good, man.
I'm happy. That makes me happy just thinking of salami and cheese and watching some basketball.
Listen, if you get anything about from this podcast, just realize that fad diets work 100%.
All the time.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and we will be back again next week. Peace out.